Welcome, rational thinkers and champions of evidence-based reasoning, to the Free of Faith podcast. This is the place where we dare to peel back the comforting but opaque layers of faith-based claims and expose their logical shortcomings. Today's topic dives into the dubious degree of reliability of Christian claims about the natural world. Buckle up, because we're about to trace the historic and ongoing retreat of the supernatural in the face of relentless scientific progress. Imagine this. You're handed an instruction manual for the universe, allegedly authored by an all-knowing deity. You flip through it, expecting brilliance. But no. Chapter after chapter turns out to be riddled with glaring errors. Diseases are divine punishments. Earth is the center of the universe. Mental illness is caused by demons. If this is what counts as divine knowledge, then there may be a serious problem with the phone line between God and humanity. As we zoom out and examine the broader historical sweep, one pattern becomes hilariously, if a bit tragically clear. Christianity has consistently offered supernatural explanations for natural phenomena, only for science to later roll in and say, actually, here's what's really going on. From the Earth's position in the universe to the origins of disease, from geology to genetics, every time science advances, Christianity retreats. It's like watching someone insist their map is accurate, even while they're standing on a mountain that the map doesn't even acknowledge. Let's hit some examples, shall we? Let's start with the good old geocentric model. For centuries, the bulk of Christianity insisted Earth was the center stage. Copernicus and Galileo had to pull the plug on that fantasy. And the church didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for their discoveries. The old claims were quietly revised to match science. Next up, disease. Plagues, pox, and pandemics. Clearly God's wrath against sinners, right? Turns out it's germs, bacteria, and viruses, not divine punishment for that lustful glance at your neighbor. Our lightning strikes the judgment of God, as was long thought? Negative, just electrons doing their thing. Then there's epilepsy and mental illness. For most of history, Christians believed these to be demonic possession, but psychology, neuroscience, and compassionate care have more recently demonstrated that it's actually the result of brain chemistry, trauma, and health. Beelzebub is not doing calisthenics in your frontal lobe. And dare we broach the Earth's age? The Bible, as interpreted by Christians for centuries, paints a picture of a universe barely older than the Internet. Meanwhile, science sets the age of Earth at 4.5 billion years. Christianity's young Earth timeline has mostly aged out of relevance and not gracefully. Each of these examples isn't just a harmless misstep. They reflect a fundamental trend. As our tools for understanding the world get sharper, Christianity's supernatural explanations get pushed further to the margins. The room of mystery, where faith once comfortably thrived, it's shrinking and fast. So here's the million-dollar question. If Christianity really has a hotline to divine truth, why does it keep getting corrected by mere mortals armed with microscopes and telescopes? Science operates under methodological naturalism. It asks,
what can we actually know through observation, testing, and evidence?
Science evolves. It admits mistakes. It improves. Meanwhile, Christianity tends to revise its claims only after being thoroughly debunked, not unlike a student editing their test answers after seeing the teacher's key. Here's the key conclusion. If the Bible were truly divine revelation, its contents would match the actual structure of the cosmos, not contradict it. But instead, it mirrors the worldview of Iron Age tribes doing their best to explain thunderstorms and locusts. You'd think an omniscient deity could have at least dropped a hint about germ theory. Defenders of faith aren't shy about stepping into the pulpit with explanations. They'll argue that the Bible wasn't meant to be scientific, that God revealed truths progressively, or that faith operates on some higher epistemic plane. Some even say God intentionally dumbed things down to be culturally relevant. But here's the problem. These are retroactive band-aids, and the more supernatural explanations retreat, the clearer it becomes that they were never profound truths. They were placeholders. This whole pattern of Christianity, clinging to one explanation until science disproves it, then shifting the goalposts, suggests its foundation isn't divine revelation, but human ignorance dressed up in spiritual language.
So, you proved evolution? Well, God must have guided it.
We see this especially in current debates. Evolution versus design, consciousness versus soul, cosmology versus Genesis. Every time science shines light into a shadowy corner, Christianity scrambles to relocate its claims to the next unexplained gap.
You mapped the brain's processes? Okay, but what about the soul?
It's an endless shell game. But let's not just criticize. Let's talk alternatives. Enter prediction markets. These forecasting platforms reward accuracy, penalize poor guesses, and encourage intellectual humility. Imagine if theists put their beliefs to the test here. Would their faith-based claims hold up? If not, maybe it's time to reconsider what we're calling truth. Science doesn't just explain the world, it predicts it. Faith doesn't. Science invites scrutiny. Faith urges you not to look too closely. Science says,
Feel free to demonstrate I'm wrong.
faith says.
How dare you question God?
So here's your takeaway. Christianity's track record for describing reality is abysmal. Its supernatural scaffolding continues to collapse under the pressure of empirical discovery. If that's divine revelation, it has the batting average of a slug, not a slugger. If this conversation has sparked some questions, or even some discomfort, that's a good thing. Questioning is the first step toward clarity. Don't settle for easy answers or platitudes. Dive deeper, explore further, and demand evidence. Head over to Free of Faith to read the full article and join the discussion. Let's keep this conversation going, because the pursuit of truth doesn't stop at questioning. It's about finding answers that actually make sense. Thank you for tuning in to the Free of Faith podcast, where we expose the logical failings of faith and celebrate the clarity that comes with reason. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay curious, and remember, rationality always outperforms faith. Engage reality, and I'll see you soon.